Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel for part 7 of my 7-part series. This is it. This is the last video. If you haven't seen all the other ones, there is a playlist called My Writing Journey, and all the links should be in the description box below, so go check those out. I cover a vast range of things, from how I started writing to fan fiction to my retirement, and even an excerpt from the story I'm going to be working on for National Novel Writing Month. Kind of. I mean, the story has changed so dramatically since that happened. Drastically? Probably both. But yeah, so go check those out and then come back to me. But today I'm just kind of going to be talking about my thoughts on the eve of National Novel Writing Month and a little bit more about the story that I'm writing. So firstly, it's been 4 years since I last did National Novel Writing Month. That's a long time. I'm older now. Can I write as fast? Can I stay up as late? Am I going to need to nap all the time? I'm very concerned. I used to sprint so hard from the gates, and now I'm like, am I gonna need to like pace myself? Because that's not fun. Also, because I've been doing so much world planning lately and like taking notes and figuring out what I'm doing, I haven't actually written like a story for a very long time. So I'm like, what if I forget how to use it? How to use it? How to do it? And then to add to that, I haven't picked a point of view for my story yet. I'm waffling back and forth. Should it be first person? Should it be second person? Should it be limited omniscient? Should it be omniscient? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And I think what's probably gonna happen is I'm gonna start writing as one, and then I'm gonna decide, yeah, I don't like this, and I'm gonna change it halfway through, which I have done so many times before. So, I mean, I'm no stranger to that type of heartbreak. But in any case, I'm still so excited to get into National Novel Writing Month because I get to work on this story that I've had in my heart and in my head and on various bits of paper for so many years, and that I've started so many times and never quite got there. But this year I'm super well planned, so I think that it's going to go really well. You know, I hope that it's going to go really well, says the girl who hasn't even picked her point of view. But that's fine. Before I get more in-depth into the story though, I do want to talk a little bit about my writing world, because I created my own world to set all my stories in, because I figured it would be a good idea at the time. And it kind of is, and it's kind of also very much a lot of work, but what can you do? So even before I decided to make my own world, I would try to link my stories together somehow. So I would have one character going through like a filing cabinet and come across a name from a character in another story. So when I finally decided to create my own world, I already had like that groundwork laid for all the stories to kind of exist and coexist in the same universe. And now it's even better because I'm creating my own timeline, so I'm not really hampered by real life in that regard. So if something happens in story A, I can have it have a direct effect on my world's timeline, which will cause story B. So I really like that. I also like that I don't have to sit there and do tons and tons and tons of research on a specific city in case I want to set a story there. And that's kind of how my whole world came about. And my world is called Illyria, by the way. E-L-Y-R-I-A. I know how to spell. And it's actually funny because the story that I'm going to be doing for National Novel Writing Month, which currently has a working title of the Edge Trilogy, is the reason why Illyria exists. I mean, I probably would have got there eventually, but this story in specific, I had a character who needed to go to a city, and I picked Boston for various reasons. And I was sitting there and I was on Google Maps, and I had Wikipedia open, and I had like so many web pages open, just trying to figure out what I could about Boston. And I was like, this is stupid. I'm just gonna make my own world. And in hindsight, like I said, a lot more work, but it's also a lot more freedom. So I'm happy with that decision, but every once in a while I'm like, really? Why did you do this? You do know you need to have an industrial revolution, and you should probably have an agricultural revolution, and you need this, and you need that, and you need that, and what's the political system in this country, huh? So, whatever, fine, past me, thank you, I guess, kind of, but, so I do have this little world that I've created my story in so that I don't have to research Boston to no end, or any other city for that matter. It is kind of related to current world that we're in, Earth, as in that it's round and it's gonna have a bunch of different continents, but everything from the timeline to the history to what it looks like geographically is gonna be different. There'll be similarities because I did start a lot of these stories in this world and then I've moved them, but it's my own world. But now I guess on to that story that I'm working on right now, which, like I just said, is called the Edge Trilogy. There is an excerpt that I read in yesterday's video, part 6, which is from the very first thing I wrote about the story, and it's a train wreck. But, you know, if you want to see what the story started as, pop back to that video and check it out. Otherwise, I'm going to attempt to sum up what the story is without saying too much about it, which I'm really bad at. I just want to write my stories so everybody can read them so I can share them, and I can't share them all right now because I think that's wrong. It's like saying, and everybody dies in the end before somebody reads something. Isn't there a book called that? And they both die? I think there is. I'm sorry, I get like super distracted. I'm really bad at synopsises or synopsi. I don't know what the plural is, but I'm going to attempt to briefly give you an overview of the story. So, it starts out with my main character, who is a girl. Her name is Annika. She is dropped off in an orphanage when she is just a baby, so that's what she grows up as she grows up as a baby. That's how she grows up in the orphanage. It's all she ever knows. She gets picked on because her skin's darker than everybody else's. And she's kind of been there the longest. There's maybe one guy who's been there longer than her. I haven't decided yet, but he is like the supreme in the orphanage. Like he's here. Annika is like there. Annika. I changed the name recently, just the way you pronounce it. Anyway, so she hates her life there. At school, she gets made fun of and bullied, but it's because she lives in an orphanage. So at home she's bullied because she doesn't look like everybody else, and then at school she's bullied because she's in an orphanage. So really loving life. Doesn't get along well with the head mistress because, you know, why not? It's in every story. And then I think when she's in her early teens, she discovers computers and like the internet, and it just opens the world to her because she didn't know that all this knowledge and information existed, and she loves it so much she feeds on it. I actually was working on my story the other day and I was like, I bet you she'd be really good at trivia, but it's just because she loves information so much. And she also discovers that she's really good with computers, like not just Googling things or searching for stuff, but programming and by extension hacking. So now she's like, maybe I can do something with my life that isn't just what people who leave the orphanage do. I don't know what they do. I haven't, whatever. She can make something of her life. So she really buckles down in school, but somewhere along the way she gets in trouble with the law. And so she gets a slap on the wrist, gets told not to do it again, and obviously she does do it again. So then she ends up on the run and trying to figure out how to create this new life for herself when she's got people looking for her and she's lost everything that she knew, even if everything she knew wasn't exactly what she wanted. I think I'll leave it at that. I think that's probably the most succinct way I can say it right now without revealing too much, but it is a lot more detailed than that, but you'll have to wait until I write this and then figure out how to get it published and then get it published and then read it. But baby steps, and step one is figuring out what the point of view is. But so that's the story I'm working on. I'm very excited to finally be working on. I'm very excited. I just love writing so much that I'm just excited to be working on anything. Earlier today I was texting my friend. I was like, hey, I got this other story, and this is what happens, and this is what happens, and this is what happens. And she's like, can I read that? I'm like, no, I gotta write something else first. But yeah, I think that's it for me. It's National Novel Writing Month tomorrow. I don't know if I'm gonna stay up till midnight and write. As soon as it hits November 1st, or if I'm gonna just whatever, just start whenever I start, but we'll see how it goes. And I do post daily vlogs, so I will be updating my progress during the month of November. Hopefully it will be very positive progress. But we'll see. I'm trying to be cautiously optimistic, but it's been so long that I'm very concerned that I'm just going to like jump off the gate and like face first into the ground. But it'll be okay, right? So if you want to see what happens, feel free to hit the subscribe button, so you will see those vlogs as they come up. Pretty sure all of November will be dedicated to this. And if you haven't checked out the other 6.5 parts of my series, there should be links in the description for all of them, like I said, so you can check those out. And thanks for joining me on these 7 days leading up to National Novel Writing Month. If you are doing National Novel Writing Month, good luck. I wish you all the best in getting your 50,000 or more words. We can do it, guys. We can do it. And yeah, thanks for coming along for this journey.